Last time on Metanoia Blues. The Kraken Slayer is flying overland to escape the assault of Lyrander and Culbercon's forces, but must slow down to make emergency repairs to the strut sustaining the elemental ring. Despite the danger and desperation, Willow is in their element and makes the most out of their spider climb to patch the bottom strut before the spell runs out. Meanwhile, N is joined by Gardenia, Emma Brightwind, and two other members of the Storm Chaser crew as they prepare to investigate and sabotage the spell engine powering the undead armies of Fort Fathomless. They venture into the observation room of the enormous factory floor, where they meet with the resident talking cat. N tries to negotiate with it, unfortunately to little success, but the cat does reveal a few pieces of cryptic information. The makeshift alliance between N and the Storm Chasers is not without friction, though. After a bit of tense conversation with Emma about their loyalties, N manages to sneak into the industrial works using their warlock powers. Though they struggle navigating the massive machinery, N creates a leak in the cooling tanks and are given an estimated few hours before their sabotage will take hold. The team then descends back towards the rest of the Storm Chaser crew, intent to regroup and rest as much as they can. Above in the fortress, Luca is taken to the private study of Wolfram IV for a game of chess. During the match, Luca has a moment of shocking clarity about his opponent's demeanor and is able to play not just the game, but Wolfram himself, trying to make the man question his instincts. The two are interrupted by Madame Agatha, who brings both food and a reminder for Wolfram to finish his assignments of arcane equations. Luca is permitted to stay and relax while Wolfram studies, and tries to fish for information. Unsuccessfully. Wolfram IV declares that the teleportation circle was destroyed to avoid fortress being breached. We return to the scene of N and the Storm Chaser crew huddled within the submarine cavern far under the fortress. Emma, Glenn Lockwood, the bosun Dorna, and Gardenia have returned with you and are regrouping at the bottom of the elevator shaft with the rest of the Storm Chaser crew. Blossom, the Warforged medic, is collaborating and seeing what rope and stuff they can find to potentially hole up the damaged metallic tube vessel that you found last time.
Yes.
So, there's general sort of people have gone off into little clusters and are sitting and resting. I think a good few of them have like stripped the prison cells
Smart.
of what little furniture and padding they could. There's sort of a makeshift barricade being set up of like bits of broken wooden furniture to like have potential cover should more skeletons arrive.
Good.
And what are you doing?
I think N is like kind of situated themselves in like kind of a corner, just out of the way. They sat on the floor, their back against one of the rocky walls. And they're just kind of watching the crew work, taking their rest, probably playing with a knife. one of the ones they still have. Just keeping their hands busy. It's more of a fidget than like trying to be threatening. Like, it's like if you had a butterfly knife and you're just like opening and closing it. That's not what it enhances, but it's that energy of like I'm not handling this like a weapon and just like this is what I have and this is what I'm using to like vent my tensions.
Yeah, you're doing walking you're doing like twirls and stuff to just keep your fingers busy.
Yes.
And like regulate your breathing. I think Emma is sort of giving general updates on like information of what happened so far. How closely are you listening to things?
I mean, Anne's not really doing anything else, so they're probably like listening. Yes.
Okay. All right. So Emma's going, there's a leak in the cooling tanks now. Don't know how long it'll take for that to start impacting things negatively. We can thank our uninvited guest for that. There's a little bit of murmuring between the crew of like, so who is that anyway? Does N speak up or...
I mean, it depends a bit on like, are they standing so far away that it would be like, oh, now they're eavesdropping if N spoke up, you know, like.
No, I don't think it's like that. It's a relatively open room, so it's less eavesdropping and more like, you know, the energy of like when you're hanging with a group of people in like a room, and you're not directly in the conversation, but like it is not a surprise if you do join the conversation, because like Emma is speaking loud enough for everybody to hear her.
Yeah.
Including people who are like doing busy work of like, I think the triplets are like literally ripping one of the blankets to shreds, like one of the sheets to shreds, and like forming rope out of it.
Yeah, fair. If it seems like not a breach in confidentiality for him to speak up, so they they'll speak up at that point. You can call me N. And it's true that I did come here with Fender, but now we're all in the shit, so I guess I'm on your side.
I'd like you just to make a persuasion check for a general read.
Yes. And is like kind of barely looking at them. They're looking at their knife kind of while they're speaking. Beep, boop. That's a 22.
22. Okay. Good. You know what? Let's move you over to a new little scene.
What's this?
Look at all those gauges.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no. Welcome
Wow, look
to
at all
my
these people
life.
I have to disappoint.
I appreciate that the triplets don't even get an individual meter. They are one.
They work as one.
Oh, that's hilarious. So, what are we looking at, Zeke?
So
a
we
picture.
are looking at a set of 11 dials that have a gauge that goes from -3 to 0 to +3 that ranks sort of the general attitude of various Storm Chaser crew members towards N.
Oh dear. Oh my gosh. So a few of them have been listed. Gardenia's pretty high up.
Yeah, well, Gardenia's been working with N the most.
Yeah.
She signed their book.
Sign my yearbook?
Oh, yeah, I see that my yearbook.
Yeah.
For the real name
See you
and
on the
everything.
bus. Millhouse. Okay.
Ooh.
They're all in the positive.
No one's
That
in the
can change.
negative. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Nobody's in the
nobody that I
negative
can
yet.
perceive is in the negative. There could
Yeah.
very well be, but like everyone I know, like neutral to
Who's
positive. So like,
Danny.
Danny is the sous chef.
Oh.
Unfucking readable.
Anyway, we'll cut back to the scene, and then we'll talk more about the metatextual mini game that Anne is playing right now of gaining approval. This is I'll take your 22 persuasion check as a calibration. Some of these gauges are going to be harder to move than others.
Naturally.
For example, I would say that at the beginning of last session, Emma was in the -1
Fair.
range. She didn't trust you.
And now she's
just barely in the +1.
I'll take it.
yes. So you've made an impression on 4 of them. Well, so the triplets I'm counting as 1.
Wow, my snack meant
Yeah.
nothing to the triple. I'm kidding.
Well, no, that might have gotten you back up from like -1 to 0. So you got the triplets at 0, Blossom at 1, Gardenia at 2, and Emma at just about 1. Cool.
Yep. And some of them are like rank higher in. Some of them are naturally more friendly or more hostile than others.
Yeah. If you zoom in, they're called attitude meters, and the reddest one, -3, is hostile, and the greenest one, +3, is friendly.
Yep.
That slaps. This is cool.
I feel like Attitude Meter is the perfect like theme song
Yeah.
for the
Uh-huh.
the Wind
That's one of
Whisperers.
their new albums.
Literally. It's
That's
yeah.
like the OST track Attitude Meter.
Yeah, literally.
I think on that 22 persuasion, Magda will say, "Well, nice to meet you, Anne."
Nice to meet you too. And like, does that like, and your name is just to confirm?
Oh, I'm Magda. Magda Brightwind.
Nice to meet you. How you feeling?
Oh, well, you know, could be worse. She kind of laughs. I think there's sort of like a diffusing energy. I'm just gonna do a little charisma check for Magda herself.
Yeah.
Not great.
She's doing her best.
She's
6.
strained. It's a 6.
That's okay.
So, like, Magda is doing her best to sort of smooth over tensions in the room. And give me an insight check.
Okie 18.
You recognize this as sort of a bartender routine of like, hey, how's it going? Like opening up a wallflower sort of energy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a little bit strained, obviously, because there's a lot of general tension in the room. So, like, while Mags is not being insincere here, it is not having the reach that she would like it to.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fine in N's books. Like, N is trying to be more open, so her acting as at least attempting to act as an avenue for that is helpful, even if N can see through, like, any potential pleasantry that might be trying to be played off as really genuine, you know? Like, it's like, I don't really mind if you're doing this to an end and you're not feeling it. Like, it's fine. Conversation is conversation. So, and notices that, but they're not gonna, like, kind of react to it in any negative way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so I think Gardenia is largely staying in a strategic position, keeping an ear out on the elevator and what's going on.
Good.
Yeah. Lockwood, Dorna, and Eyepatch are sort of clustered together. Orcon and the triplets are making rope out of bed sheets. I'm gonna say Danny and Jean-Luc are having a bit of a loudly whispered conversation.
Uh-huh. Can I tune into that at all? Or at least try to?
I will say I think Magda is talking to you specifically right
yeah.
now. So just
That's
this
fine.
is this I'm keeping the I'm letting you know where things are sort of in orbit of like what's going on.
Yeah, gotcha.
Magda is like, so you've been to Orthos. I saw you so you got the patch.
Ah, yeah. I mean, we had to get the Kraken Slayer somehow, right?
Yeah.
You might notice it's flying again.
Yeah, there's a little bit, there's a beat of trying to see.
Oof.
Oof!
Honey!
It's a nat one.
I feel like she's usually better than this. She's not
She
having her
usually
best
is.
day.
Fell out of the
Plane
sky.
crash.
She-
Yeah, exactly.
Probably
like,
the second time, as an aside.
my
God.
And just
Yeah.
mentioned the ship crash that she was in the first time.
yeah,
Yeah,
poor thing.
I think that is what the nat one gives Max.
And activates trauma immediately.
Oops. God. On nat one, that's so
Yeah.
rough. I would say anything above that, and she would still be able to like, even if badly, continue her routine of like, oh, so tell me about yourself. But this is like a.
Okay, on a nat one, can I tell I just hit a nerve?
I think so.
Yeah. And like flips over the knife in their hand and like hold it properly instead of continuing to play with it, and like kind of lowers it out of Magda's line of sight. Hey, sorry. Probably a sensitive subject.
You could call it something like that.
For what it's worth, I kind of meant it as a positive, but and then holds up their finger. I can understand it. It's complicated.
I think Emma comes up and puts her hand on Mags's shoulder, and Mags like just reaches up and like holds Emma's hand there in a sort of steadying fashion. And Emma said, "You said the Kraken Slayer was still flying and that the crew aboard it are on their way here. You're in contact with them."
Yes, that is what Fender has told me, and they have no reason to lie to me about that.
Good. And the estimated time of arrival was?
About 12 hours, if everything goes well.
Emma runs some math. So they're relatively close.
Yeah, I can't say I exactly asked where they were exactly. That wasn't the dominant thing on my mind when I was trying to coordinate where we were.
Emma nods. You said you needed some rest, but can you rest and talk to them at the same time?
Yeah, that should be no problem. Is there something specific you want me to talk to them about? Ask them some code word for your brother?
No code words. Just tell them we're all alive and accounted for.
I did mention that to them, but I'm happy to say it again. Let them know that everyone's here, everyone's alive.
I guess if he has any questions for us.
That's true. Certainly do that.
So. Do you far scribe to Willow?
Yeah, if no one else is coming to talk to me right now, I will.
At the moment, it seems like this is the request Emma has put in, and then, like,
Yeah.
once they get feedback, it'll continue the conversation.
Cool. Yeah, and I'll talk to Willow. They also need to check in with Luca,
Yeah.
but since Emma asked so nicely, and we'll open up their book, and once again, Far Scribe to Willow. Still alive?
Let me think. Willow didn't respond with that, but it is the vibe.
Yes.
I would say, so when did you contact me last? You contacted me when I was in the middle of talking with Mei Mei. Sorry, doing repairs with Mei Mei?
Yeah, doing
Yeah.
repairs with Mamie because I was talking to you about engine, engine sabotage. So it's been, what would you say, Zeke? Like maybe half an hour?
Yeah, I would say about half an hour.
I like to think that Willow's kind of wrapped up with Mei Mei, and is like just at a, let's just say like a neutral point between here and there, you know?
Yeah, would you roll me another carpenter's tools check for repairing?
True. This will help
Strut.
determine what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Carpenter's tools at disadvantage? Or is Mei Mei giving me help?
Mei Mei is giving you help, so it's flat.
Yay. Carpenter's tools. Woof. It's 15 still, though I did roll a 6.
15 is sufficient, let's say.
Okay.
So, roll me 2d4 plus 2.
6 all up.
Okay. Which is over the 50% mark of repairs.
Nice.
So there's still a bit of damage going on, but it is over the 50% mark.
Okay. What needs to be repaired to take it further? Like, if the struts are mechanically repaired, what's...
I mean, this is how much you've repaired the struts for, so...
okay, so they're not fully...
They're not, like,
operational.
back at 100. It's just,
Yeah.
like, you've done enough to have it, like, halfway good.
Okay. So there's still plenty of work to do.
Yes, so... Still work to do, but work is progressing.
Yeah. Oh, good. I think then we're catching Willow, like, between one task and the other. Like, you've seen them
Yeah.
sort of put Mei Mei on a new task while they are heading over to their whatever they do next, which I imagine might just be the other strut, like, you know, balancing them out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll talk to N as I'm walking. Willow will reply. Somehow.
Somehow?
You?
I'm good. Did something happen?
Oh yeah, Willow. Willow pauses like, I didn't tell
Willow
you.
realizes,
Yeah.
I didn't tell you anything.
Yeah, wait, okay, Willow. Yeah, okay. You see, oh yeah, in your text.
And makes a face like, oh yeah. Like, scrunches up their nose like,
There's no tone indicator, so instead of like, is it? Oh yeah. In Willow's mind, in N's mind, it's oh yeah, oh yeah,
busting through the walls. Kool-Aid Man style.
Okay. Anyway, yes, Willow is going to mention. Can't believe I forgot to say. Guess who's on our tail?
It's not Khorvaire, is it?
Does this pick up on laughter?
Yes.
Yeah. Just
No, Willow types. Willow writes that.
Smiley face.
Willow writes, does this pick up on laughter? If not, hee hee hee.
I'll take that as a yes.
Not just Khorvaire.
Who the fuck else?
The shark had a kraken attached.
Well, did you slay it?
So bold, we're hardly flying.
Are they still flying?
Sorry, Willow's pause of like, N is so quick. Oh man. Anyway. Did you slay it? Okay. Sorry, Willow.
You're right at home.
Oh, yeah, Willow's like, okay, Wind Whisperer. I think Willow will respond to you saying, easy, Whisperer. Yeah? The crew is rubbing off on you far too quickly.
Are you actively in combat?
No.
Okay.
No, we shook them. Currently flying over Stone Spur. They are trudging along, licking their wounds in the ocean. However, they are still trudging.
Are they coming to the fort?
I suspect Khorvaire was already on his way to the fort, but we may have accelerated him. Decelerated him.
Huh. Well, if he's traveling by water, that's still...
Slower than us.
Yeah, that gives us some time. Okay. New complication noted. But everyone's good on your side? Like, alive?
Willow briefly... Like, there's a little flash of a memory of that one Quetzalcoatlus rider that just got, like, very clearly died mid-air.
Yeah.
Just a little catalogued thought in their mind as a flick of the eye sideways. Everyone aboard the Kraken Slayer is safe.
Good. That's good. Emma wanted to pass on that everyone on this side is also some measure of good. I can see them all right now. We're all gathered by the pond, under the ocean.
Oh, that one.
Yes, that one. A little bumped and bruised, but alive. So Emma wanted to make sure that message got passed on to Colton. And she also asked me to ask you to be the in-between if Colton has any questions for her or any of the other crewmates.
I think Emma speaks up, going, "What pace are they traveling at?"
And glances up from their book, back down. She just asked me what pace you're traveling at.
Zeke, is it 12 miles per hour at this speed?
Uh,
Let me just open my notes.
I believe the Kraken Slayer's default is 10 miles per hour. If you engage the dual core, it's 20 miles per hour, which is
That's
the
right.
12-hour estimate. Right now, you're traveling at about 3 miles per hour, which is about
Ugh.
walking pace, because you are doing repairs. So you're not like stationary, but you're at a bit of a crawl while you're overland, while you're still doing repairs, because otherwise it would be much more dangerous to do repairs.
Indeed. I'd be fighting against the winds. Okay, so we're going at 3 right now.
Yep.
You know, Willow was kind of playing the like, hee hee ha ha, we are so cool, so fast, so swift in the air while those plebs are in their boat. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. But then, like, upon asking that question, technically we're not moving that fast. But we are moving over land. So it's like a, it's like a sigh.
You're taking
of a
the
question.
shortest route possible.
It's a question that makes Willow like, like, I guess I have to admit. Jesus, what the fuck is happening? My brain just shut down.
Your brain is going at 3 miles an hour.
It's 3 miles per hour, yeah?
Yeah.
Willow will say 3 miles per hour, working to increase that as quickly as possible.
Due to damage? The elemental good?
Yes. And yes.
Got it. And will like lift their head from their book to look towards Emma. At present, they're going at 3 miles an hour due to repairs that they've had to make to the ship. They're working to increase that speed as quickly as possible.
What repairs?
And like visibly like brings their pencil hand up to like squeeze at their like temples a bit. Okay, so according to Fender, Khorvaire and Lyrander attacked the Kraken Slayer.
Oh dear!
I think there's just like a
information onto the rest of the fucking crew.
I think Emma just goes, "They what?"
No.
And suddenly the whole room is turned.
Listen.
Khorvaire and Lavanda.
Listen. Wolfrun, the guy upstairs, the evil, haha, I own this big old skeleton fortress guy, he wanted to sell you all out to Khorvaire and friends anyway. Now we just know where they are.
Make the persuasion check of your life.
And this is a good thing, actually. We know where they are.
Yeah, no, this is such an angle to sell.
I don't see a problem with this.
Oh,
That's a
no.
9.
A 9. Yeah, that feels about a 9 on of a statement. And it's like, right. Fan-fucking-tastic. They're flying. Where are they?
Just before Stone Spur. They're traveling by water, so they're not going to be as fast as the airship.
Emma like looks around as if she's like going to try and check the wind, and then realizes that she's underground and like. Here's a little like. I feel like there's a. If this were like a show with Foley, there would be like a sound of like glass snapping.
No, I'm so sorry.
And is calm and doesn't actually think this is a bad thing. We have to know all of the angles that we could be attacked from.
Yeah. Emma's just having an emotional response to.
And would rather rip off the bandage than Khorvaire show up and be like, oh, and like, oh, I knew about that. Like, that's gonna be worse.
No, that's fair. She can at least tell that you're being sincere. You're being honest. If
Why would I bring it up otherwise?
truly.
Just kidding.
This is not the news that somebody who is lying to get into your good graces would tell, but it is bad news all the same.
Yep.
And Emma goes, right, this technically doesn't change anything. This just means... So they're doing repairs on the ship. Fender and Fulton.
Fulton and everyone else aboard, I assume. Varys
Who else
and
is
May
aboard?
might be pitching in. Varys... Oh, you didn't even see Varys.
He the guy steering your ship?
He was the one flying the ship, yeah. I'm sure you'll meet him later.
And who is he?
Just some guy we picked up from Regalport. I'm sure he can speak for himself. And then there's...
Can I
Claptrap,
do another
Bjorn,
insight check? For...
May.
Oh my god.
Emma's like, okay, that doesn't matter. She like, honestly, doesn't matter. Some guy, some foundling. Cool. That's fine.
Ain't a lie.
It's not a lie.
Not important
She doesn't
right
care
now.
about the extraneous information. Bjorn, Claptrap, you said?
May.
May's in trouble. They're all in trouble.
This is all stuff they're gonna figure out eventually.
You're so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it's
Unless-
better to get this information out now rather than like
Yeah.
in the middle of
Exactly.
combat when people are gonna
Yeah.
die.
That's why I'm
No,
like,
you're
what's
so
the
funny.
bandage now? If you want to punch me,
Yep.
punch me. Like, fine, I'll take it. But like, you gotta
Bro,
know.
you're too little for this.
Yeah.
No, it's just the difference in where we stand in relation to this information is so funny. I'm fully bodily stressed, and you're just like, meh. I'm like,
You know, it's really... Oh, boy. Okay. Okay. Claptrap, Bjorn, May. Emma throws a glance over to Gardenia. Gardenia, wearing her wooden mask, gives like a little tilt of the head of like, what?
I'm not under the impression that the damage is that severe. Apparently they made quite a speedy escape, so...
Okay. What's the estimated distance from where they are to where we are?
And goes back to their book. Hey, sorry about that. Do you know about the estimated distance between where you are and Fort Fathomless?
Yes, is everything okay on your end?
Yeah, just filling Emma in on the situation.
Oh. All of it?
Yes.
Okay. Willow in real life has started, I feel like they were walking with purpose and now they're kind of pacing with anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they sort of done a roundabout. Yep. Okay. Don't worry. End's handling it. That's all I need to think. What did End ask? Distance. What was the distance, Zeke?
Yes, so let us pull up the overworld map. And also, we've got a little tracker. You were south of Farlan when you got the information of Fort Fathomless.
Yeah.
So that was a few hours ago in the morning. You have made it past there. Traveled, I want to say, just over 60 kilometers. You're about here.
Woo! Look at us. Wait, and that's the rest of the way we have to go?
Yep.
Oh, dear.
Yep, that's why En's like,
Well,
we're on our own.
I love that we got this big, screen-spanning horizontal bar with all these notches, and then Zeke's like, after all those calculations, we're this far, and you moved us a millimeter right. Oh, okay.
Good job, team.
We did it. Okay. Cool. Good to know. How do I convey this to N? I'll tell N. How much did you say? Because we're switching between kilometers Edgeworth and miles.
Sorry, I meant 60 miles. I just said kilometers by habit.
By burden. Yeah.
Yeah. So 200 minus 60 means you've got about 140 to go.
Oh boy. Okay, Willow conveys that to N.
Yep, and then we'll pass that along to Emma.
Cool. Emma is going to do a quick math check. 6. Takes her slightly more.
Fucking Lyranda?
Yeah, she's like, it's like 140 miles, 3 miles per hour. Doing it's just like the 140 miles. Kraken Slayer's top speed is about 10 miles per hour, so that should be about 14 hours. You said they were closer.
Yes.
Or is there some trick up the sleeve?
And thinks for a moment. I mean...
It has 2 elementals now.
No, N knows that. N's just like...
Whether to share it.
Yeah. It has some upgrades.
What sort of upgrades?
Oh, Fender maybe sort of fit 2 elementals in the thing. Let me know when you start hitting your quota of bombshells.
Emma's gonna do a little wisdom saving throw.
Oh.
20. Cool under pressure. Cool as a cucumber. Emma goes, right. You know what? That's actually good news.
Exactly.
Because we are short an elemental.
Exactly. I get that the Storm Chaser is going to remain an issue being downed out there. Unfortunately, I don't even know where to begin about that. I can provide communication. I can provide magic. I can provide power. I can provide insights. And I can't provide repairs. Maybe a magic user, monster hunter, and a part-time detective, but I'm not an artificer.
Emma says, that's fine. We know how to fix our own shit. Might not be as fast as some people. But I know for a fact that if we can get back on the Storm Chaser, even without an elemental, we'll still be in a better position.
Okay, well, you might want to have a look at this then. And it's going to flip to another page in their book and turn around the pages to face Emma to show off their, like, scribbled patrol notes that they took. So from here, this is where the elevator shaft opens up to, like, the main lobby area. Scouts here, here, and here that I could see. And then this is the entrance I came through. It's out into this courtyard. Patrols around here. And then we can cross that bridge and get back down there. That's where the Storm Chaser is. Of course, I wouldn't recommend the front door option, but there you have it.
It's good to know either way. Emma is, like, studying this.
Yeah, and I'll keep holding it out to her until she seems satisfied.
Yeah. I think Mags is also here. I think Mags is fidgeting a little bit, but studying with Emma, as like they work in tandem.
Mm-hmm. And watching them a bit.
Yeah. And I would like you to make another perception check.
Yep. How many people have leveled their crossbows at me in time? I'll be the bad guy. 18.
Oh my god.
I think you can hear sort of like some mutterings. We should have brought at least Belle or one of her juniors. Foolish to head off without a dedicated engineer. We all know how to work the ship, so don't be so bleak. The elemental flood! How are we going to fix that?
Have they heard about second elemental? That's a legitimate question.
Here's one.
Were
we
we
prepared earlier.
Were we speaking loud
They
enough?
have
that
second
they-
elemental here.
Yes. Yeah. There's a... But they just said they had a second elemental. But they're hours away. It's just like... Don't be such a coward.
Look, and we'll go back to, like, looking at Emma and Magda. Probably our best bet to move is when that engine starts messing up. Unless we want to go through with trying to go back and destroy it entirely. Or sit here even longer. But if we want to move, that might be our best bet. Unless my man on the inside can pull something else for us to give us an opening. But with that many skeletons around, it wiggles their hand. I wouldn't bank on that either.
Mag says, man on the inside, the big guy?
Yeah, that's Luca. I'm sure you noticed his little ploy up when they first brought you in here. The bastard's up top.
Yeah.
He's still, as far as I know, I need to check in on the big guy. But as far as I know, he's still in whatever semblance of good graces you can be with at least one of the guys here.
Emma nods. Turns to Orkan and the triplets. How's the rope making going? And Orkan says, almost done. Emma goes, If there's structures underwater, they probably had to send somebody down here to fix them, not just the skeletons. Should be something that we can use or find. Maybe there's another exit.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Right. You talk to your man on the inside. Take some rest.
Hey, Emma,
Hmm?
that thing that you flew before to get to our small ship.
It's aboard the Storm Chaser.
You think it's still intact after that crash?
That's what I'm hoping for.
Good. Well, see if we need it. Anyway, yeah, I'll contact my guy.
Alright.
Oh. And we'll flip over to the lookup page. It's the same page.
GTG. Okay, bye. On me.
Yeah, and we'll probably shoot off to Willow. Been talking with Emma, gonna contact Luca. Good luck.
Thanks, I'll keep you posted.
Sounds good. Then Luca time.
Mm-hmm.
Are you alive?
Well, God, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like Luca might have nodded off in his chair.
I think there was a little moment of, we're going to like briefly rewind the clock about like 15 minutes to when Luca unsuccessfully delved for, is there a teleportation circle here?
That's disrespectful.
In that exact tone of voice. And Wolfram declared that it was destroyed during the massacre.
Of course.
And I think there is a follow-up question of Wolfram saying, why are you asking?
Oh, I said, I asked because of wanting to know, like, how often they get food delivered. Because that's important.
I believe Wolfram said, we get trade ships coming by
What
every few weeks.
What do you trade?
We're servants of the Emerald Claw.
No trade. Deliveries, I suppose.
Indeed. Just give me a little persuasion check.
My good. 21.
Okay. Buys it. For now.
Good. For now.
You've successfully sort of defused that. He goes back to studying. So now Luca is like sort of just dozing.
Yeah. I ate food and I'm sitting in a couch that is more comfortable than sitting on a wooden chair in the barracks. So I imagine it's one of those ones where like the arm is the same size as the back. So he's kind of just head in hand, nodding off a little bit.
Yeah, there's a little you're doing the sentry sleep.
Yeah.
Or like the sleep of like commuters, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're on a train and you're just like I can doze for this much time exactly until my stop.
Yes. Literally, I have done that so much.
Yeah. So that's when N does the are you alive?
Luca jumps a little bit, probably knocks the table.
Oh my god.
You know when you get like jolted out of sleep?
Yeah.
He says hello out loud.
Not again!
Please don't.
Do you?
Yeah, I think he would.
Oh, he
he's like
would.
He's a bit tired, delirious, you know what I mean? He's still not great at keeping the talk in his brain.
Inside
Yeah.
voice, Luca, is it inside your head?
Yeah, I think he does.
I'm gonna do a little perception check for Wolfram to see if he
God.
takes note of you.
being an idiot. No?
10?
Make a deception check to like pretend that you
Okay,
just
okay.
startled yourself out of a dream.
Oh, that's a now one.
God.
Nat 1! Far
Nat
out.
1.
Luca.
I think
Okay.
Wolfrin says, "Who are you talking to?"
Hmm? I was talking to you, wasn't I?
He seems
Cameron?
unconvinced. Make another deception check at disadvantage.
Oh, hell. Oh!
15 instead of a natural 20.
It could have been that 20. God damn!
Whoa. What was that, Zeke? What did you roll?
That was Wolfrid rolled a natural 19 on his insight check.
Oh, shit.
Has your handler finally contacted you? What's going on?
Luca takes a beat, like, trying to figure out his best approach, and he, like, yes, it's her. Like, sounding a little bit confused, like he wasn't expecting to hear from her. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll a, let's say a flat deception check because he gave you this line of logic.
Oh.
He's giving you help action. Damn.
Oh, 21!
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, thank goodness.
What does she want?
She wanted to see if I was alive. Not a lie.
And she wasted a spell on that. Truly, she is inept.
To be fair, you said hello to N, and N had probably been talking. Because N hasn't been given a signal not to. So, like, if you want a little bit more, like, backing you on that, N's probably asking, like, where are you and what's happening? So if you want a little bit of extra to add on to that line.
Yeah, there you go.
But
Yeah.
if you want Wolfrin to decide that Vaelia's inept, I'm fine for that too. So, like, I'm just letting you know.
Honestly, the idea of Vaelia being inept kind of plays into how Luca wants to play things, so...
Yep, so go for it.
Okay.
Luca kind of grimaces and nods his head a bit, like, I have known her to be somewhat wasteful in her pursuits.
Okay. I would like Luca to make... Ooh, what do we think the check is for being able to separate brain talk and out loud talk? Because
Oh,
Luca
God.
is focusing on out loud talk, so the question is, does he still give nonsense brain talk to N?
Just sleight of hand.
Yeah, like sleight of brain.
That would be an intelligence check, I believe.
Yeah, intelligence, I reckon. So sorry.
Just give me a flat intelligence roll.
What if I'm not responding to N
Or it could
at
be a
all?
charisma roll, actually. Because if you're thinking of, like, how much you give away, how much you, like, how well you speak, that kind of thing. I don't know. It does always strike me as intelligence.
I think this is specifically an int roll because it's...
Yes.
I think it's either N hears the other half of your phone call, or N hears nothing. And I don't think it's a particularly high DC for it to either be like a, you are not responding to that message, or N overhears your side of the conversation.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh, 12.
Raises over that
Okay.
one.
I know!
Whew.
Nearly pooped my pants again.
Again.
Okay, so I think Anne probably does hear Luca's conversation.
Oh, I was gonna say that you actually managed to not respond.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I would say a 12 is enough to like mentally separate that out.
Okay, cool.
Of just like, N doesn't get a response back.
Right, yeah.
So that is
Sorry,
on
N.
hold.
Hope you don't worry.
Can N insight check to see Luke answered out loud, didn't he? Like that kind of thing.
I mean, N asked the question
that,
and
like-
Luca didn't respond.
Is there like a wait? Does the spell? What is this spell?
Sending.
Yeah, is it spending or fast crime? Does the spell indicate that it has connected in some way? Like, you know how you make a phone call?
Yes.
It does either tell you this line does not exist anymore, or it's just not connected.
This is N knows that you have received the message, but you have left them on red.
Okay, cool. So N can probably tell Luca busy.
Okay.
N could maybe infer. So.
Well, he responded once.
Yep.
I know he's not
Okay.
dead.
Yeah. Okay. So
You
Luca,
hope.
you've successfully managed to squirm your way out of giving away too much information
Yes, cool.
after you startled awake. Wolfred returns to his equations, or looks like he's going to. Do you say anything else to him? Are you going to excuse yourself, or?
No, I think if I'm not actively being spoken to, it's a little bit easier to contact N if they decide to
Okay.
contact me again.
Okay.
But now Luca is like sitting forward, making sure he doesn't fall asleep, unfortunately. So he's just quietly resetting the chessboard to himself.
And we'll probably like
Mm-hmm.
wait a beat, like not immediately text you again when you are not responding, but they're like, wait, maybe a solid minute,
Yeah.
and then
Thank you, N.
try again with just a bad time.
Oh, you have no idea, N.
Should I cut off the message?
No, we're good now. I just won't rest. For now. I made the mistake of closing my eyes.
Rookie mistake.
Are you alive?
So far,
Is Willow alive?
last I checked, which was like 10 minutes ago, so
That's a relief.
So, are you gonna tell me what happened? Are you heading towards the dungeons? Because that might be a problem.
Oh. When was the last time Ann and I spoke? Let me check the time.
That was when you were being summoned to the sparring ring,
Yeah.
which was
Oh my god.
It's been a while.
So much has happened.
a good long while ago.
Luca kind of perks up in his seat, like, oh my god, I have so much to tell you. A lot has happened. I don't think it's right to tell you now, but I'm fine. I had lunch.
Oh, I'm glad you got something to eat, so then I can infer from that they have not tried to imprison or kill you yet.
Fingers crossed. We had a close call there.
Sorry about that. I do have some news for you. A couple things.
Mm-hmm.
I told the Storm Chaser crew, so I might as well tell you that we might have some more, invited, guests. Khorvaire and Lyrander may be on their way here.
Oh, of course they are.
I don't know if that's a result of the big bastard running this fortress, summoning them, or if they were just here, on their way here anyway. But, you might as well know. Hopefully, Willow and Co. are gonna arrive before they get here, since the Khorvaire and Lyrander are on sea, whereas Willow and company are in the air. But we'll see, won't we?
There's like a moment before a reply comes. I think I'll be speaking with him soon. I'll try and find out if he contacted them.
Do what you can. Whatever works for your position. At this point, I really don't want to jeopardize where you're at. That's more important to me than information gathering.
Oh, do you care about me? My well-being?
I'm really just letting all the beans slip out today, aren't I?
I love beans.
Oh, once we get back to some spit of land that isn't this one, maybe we can get you some. Anyway, other piece of news is the engine you were talking about, the arcane engine thingamabob that you theorized was running the skeletons.
Mm-hmm.
I found it.
And?
I managed to get in there and break some of the cooling tanks without getting accosted by the billions of skeletons that were in there. There were a lot. I got only a peek, but there were a lot. So fighting my way to it was probably not feasible. Breaking the tanks, that I could do.
I think when N says there were a lot of people, a lot of skeletons, the camera is like watching Luca, and you can see his face kind of slowly lose what little joy it had just from talking to N.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
N doesn't know about that part.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear there's some progress there.
Yeah, so...
Like flat, dry text.
Mm-hmm. So we're looking at maybe 1 or 2 hours before that thing starts breaking down, overheating.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that'll do something to mitigate the skeleton issue. But I can't know. Just be prepared. In about an hour from now, the situation might start changing.
Where are you now?
Okay. So there's a cavern at the bottom of the elevator shaft with a pond.
Can I logic this out? Because I think it would be so funny if Luca immediately understands what Willow did not.
Make an intelligence check.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope, that's a 5. Knows nothing. The ocean isn't a pond.
It's an underwater pond. It's like an air pocket or something. A little body of water inside of it. Anyway, we're not in the water. We're on a little, like, a bit of a rock and dock.
This is like the third time this conversation has happened.
Yeah.
It's like the most mundane piece of information that just perplexes everyone.
Yeah, it's just doing their best. Anyway, the point is, we're probably safe down here for a little while. This is where they're drilling out oil through this pond to fuel the spell engine, is my understanding. But they recently gathered up some fuel from here, so they're unlikely to come down anytime soon. So we're probably safe for the next hour, at least.
Are they being nice to you?
I mean, some measure of nice. Given the situation and given what I'm punching them with, not literally, things would be a lot worse.
Yeah, Luca perked. Are you punching them?
With information.
Is the helmsman with you?
Oh yeah, Orcon?
Yeah. Is he okay?
Yeah, I think they're all here and alive.
Okay.
Is there anything you want me to tell them?
Be nice.
Not entirely sure that's gonna go over very well.
We'll make it work.
That we will.
Smiley face.
Alright. Be careful up there.
You too.
And we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Luca unintentionally starts organizing the chessboard as if it were the people in the castle.
Oh boy. What pieces do you select to represent each?
exclusively pawns.
Hey. That's my routine.
I think the king on one side is the spell engine and the king on the other side is the castellan. But everyone else is a pawn.
Oh. Interesting. Okay. Cool. Let's return back to N for a little bit. I'm gonna have Blossom roll an athletics check with advantage because the entire crew is helping
Yeah,
her
girl.
heave ho
The tube.
the tube.
The
crushed
tube.
The tube!
Nat
Yo!
20!
Yes!
Hey!
I'm glad someone's
So-
rolling good today.
So, Emma, Mags, are like doing the everybody hands in, heave ho, Gardenia keeping watch and running communications. There is an exclamation sort of work as Blossom and the crew haul up this tube closer and closer to the underwater where it can be seen now. It is large and clearly broken, like ruptured on one end, filled with water. But, and as you close the book, you can see that there's scrap being handed up for salvage. So these thick steel cables covered in rust and algae, some little broken bits of Everbright lights that have been turned off, and what looks like a rusty, thick suit of armor with a large circular spherical helm with a little window grate in front.
Do I recognize what that is at all?
You can make an Arcana check.
Might as well. It's a 6.
Weird suit of armor.
What is that doing down there? They'll just throw anything into this pond.
It
Man's
fights
never played
squids,
Bioshock.
obviously. They lived it.
Yeah, actually.
They're living it right now.
Thank you,
So
Clyde.
there's like the audioscape on this probably sounds crazy. There's like the echoing of voices because this is an uninsulated room with like bare rock walls. There's a sound of splashing metal being scraped out. People assessing the damage. Glenn Lockwood, the dwarf, who was with you in the engine room, starts ritually casting sort of a detect magic on this suit of armor. And I think one of the triplets says, kind of looks like a fishbowl. So there's that going on. Have you closed your book? Are you looking to interact again?
Yeah, and probably did like close their book few seconds ago to just kind of mainly observe what was going on around them, even though they, as you said, soundscape was pretty difficult to ignore, so they've been generally aware of what's going on up until now.
Yeah. At least now you're looking at what's actually being brought up.
I'm looking at the fishbowl, I guess. Trying to figure out what that suit of armor is, having no idea.
Blossom says, it appears to be some sort of diving armor.
Huh. Think it'll still work?
Glenn says, it's a little bit messed up, but and he'll do a little Arcana check.
Damn.
Yeah,
Hey.
does a little bit of mending to patch up where the rust and pieces are. It says, hey, I think it might still be watertight.
Hey, Glenn.
As a mending cantrip. Always good to have.
Indeed.
All right, so probably useful to have in our back pocket.
Yeah. People are holding it up and it says, I think Dorna says, too small for me. Magda goes, but this is good, right? This means that 2 people could be underwater. Maybe Gardenia or somebody could go with Blossom. Maybe try and see if we can pull out the harpoons.
Technically 3 people. And holds up 3 fingers. Blossom, someone in the suit, and reaches into their pouch and produces the potion of water breathing and wiggles it in the air.
Nice. Hey, that's useful.
I'm willing to go, but I'm also willing to pawn this off to whoever is the best option to be aboard that ship.
Emma says, hold on. Blossom can go underwater as much as she wants, and now that we have that suit of armor, maybe we could ferry people back and forth.
Now that's an idea.
Plus, I think that even with that water-breathing potion, you might have a hard time swimming in this place.
Yeah,
We're pretty deep down.
probably won't be going out this particular exit. But it is an option that isn't walking out the front door.
If we can even just set the Storm Chaser adrift, to get it further away from this.
That'd be a good start.
Yeah.
No, I think that's good.
I think Dorna, the bugbear bosun, sort of is cracking her knuckles idly in the background. She says, "You, little white one.
Yeah.
You said skeletons come back at midnight?
That's right.
Think they still come back if they're powder?"
And pouts their lip. What? Does N have, like, the kind of knowledge to be like, yeah? Or no?
Considering that the engine room itself was covered in dust
True.
of ground down bones, you're gonna say that at a certain point the skeletons have stopped being skeletal remains.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
And those were people.
That's what you say at a funeral. Carry on.
Yeah. I'm respecting them, post them up. But you're not here.
Hello?
Yeah, so Anne pouts her lip in thought for a moment, like just going over the information for any flaws, and then kind of smirks up at her. You know, I don't think they do.
So the skeletons we killed earlier, we grind down their bones. Less skeletons.
I would certainly take them out of the equation. And I'm certainly happy to stick around here and keep running amok while the rest of the crew gets back to their ship.
Emma says, all right.
Everyone good if I hold on to this, hold up the potion, just in case of emergencies?
Emma nods.
Cool. And tosses it between their hands, then pockets it.
If we can get weapons, if they haven't looted the Storm Chaser yet, should be able to acquire some gear from there. Certainly that's one thing Blossom can ferry over as well.
If you can bring back some food, that'd be much appreciated. Not a priority, but
Blossom says, "Oh, of course! You all must be starving! I'm so sorry." Emma's like, "Yeah, rations would be good."
All right, well, you guys want to get a move on that, and me and my new best friend are gonna go grind some bones, huh? Elbows her gently in the hip.
Yeah. I think make a little charisma check here.
Gets punched into the pond.
Nice.
16.
Okay. I think she does a little nose laugh. Good. Climb with me.
You got it.
You two will head up the elevator shaft back to the prison where the skeletal remains are. All right. I think let us come back on the Kraken Slayer for a little bit. So, you've suffered some damage. We've been doing repairs. I want to say it is now noon 30, almost 1, because repairing takes time. I will roll for Claptrap to do another mending check with his Arcana. Nat 20 again. Go
My
for it, old
gosh.
man. So let me roll another. It's another 13. 6 plus 13. I have a number of like how much damage was done during that fight.
Mhm.
Cool. You are like 85% repaired.
Do you have it at, just before you did claptraps, was it at 230 out of 300? Or were you doing the individual struts?
I was doing sort of the individual struts.
Okay, so the overall HP of the Kraken Slayer hasn't been moved?
It should be moved, because like it's all combined,
Yeah, I wasn't
if you
sure.
will.
Yep.
But I'm not worrying too much about the exact details, if only because I don't have it set up
Yeah, no worries.
as clearly. So I think during the fight with the Killjaws and the Provocation and the Kraken Slayer, the ship suffered a total of 81 damage, and you've repaired a total of 68.
Nice.
Yeah, so like 83, 84% repaired. So certainly good enough to be back at full speed, even if you are like a little scuffed.
Alright, cool.
Is Willow going to keep working on repairs, or until like all of the damage is fixed, or are they satisfied with good enough?
Funny question. I think I would need to roll to see how much how much I hold up. But Willow's intending to bring it. So as far as I understand, we need to repair it to the point where we can travel as fast as we can. I just spoke to N just before, before the last time they contacted me about getting there as soon as possible. N said some things that Willow wants to make good on that. saying that and then informing Anne that we're actually going at like 3 miles per hour walking pace, Willow's like, we have to be in the best position to travel as quickly as we can without anything breaking.
Yeah.
That means now that we are slower, repairing as much as I can, especially because we don't know what else might enter the ship.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to go for as long as I can.
Okay. I'd like you to make a Constitution saving throw.
8.
You are struggling. I think the other members of the crew, May, Claptrap, Bjorn, and even Varys at this point, have all had a chance to like at least sleep a few hours, like in shifts. So they've rested. They aren't suffering from exhaustion. This is your 3rd day awake?
Second?
You-
Third day.
You had a 3rd day awake.
Second night.
Yep.
Sorry, I lost track. I haven't slept.
Yeah. You had a feast bug between the first and the second. You have not had anything really between the second and the third, which is today. So you are flagging. You can feel yourself, like, your reaction time is being slowed. You can tell that, like, you're tired and you're only getting more tired.
I think Willow does one of those stupid things, like if they're, you know, when you're like screwing something in and you realize after like 2 minutes you've been screwing it the wrong way, like that kind of thing. And Willow's like, oh my god. Or like that moment, that lurch of like about to drop their tools overboard.
Yeah.
Like just slipping.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a few of those moments where Willow's like, oh my gosh. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
At the very least, Willow's like, I probably need food.
Yeah. Bjorn, I think, has like gone down to make lunch and like declared as such. So you can either follow him down or wait for him to bring some up, because I think he's probably going to bring snacks. Up to Willow.
I think one of the things that Willow is kind of used to doing aboard the Kraken Slayer, and they're delirious enough that it's like they are running off a bit of intuition at the moment, I believe. They feel themselves flagging in their work because they're getting hungry, and they know that even if Bjorn hasn't finished preparing something, there's probably going to be something to eat in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So they'll head down or trot over.
Okay.
Raw carrot, something like that. You know?
Yeah.
Celery.
Apple slices, a tangerine.
Yes. Hey, do you want to? No, I got the image of like, you know, when you like come down the stairs to the kitchen, and then like it's a flashback.
Yeah.
Could play out a flashback.
Do you wanna?
Do you want to play out a flashback? I'm gonna ask the table. Do you guys want to see a flashback?
Don't tease us if you're not going to give it to us.
Do you want it? Tell me, fellas, do you want it?
This is the perfect opportunity, and you're dangling it in front of us. Like, oh, should we give them what they want? I don't fucking know. What do you think?
Damn, angry. Okay.
Yeah.
I think when Willow heads down the stairs, we're switching perspectives very seamlessly, and it's a young Fender. Clearly in the early days. Well, I guess it wouldn't be clear from a glance, except that they're probably wearing a similar outfit than the one that they were wearing when they first boarded the Kraken Slayer.
They
received a job
hired themselves. Yeah.
Yes. The mutual agreement. The handshake.
Yeah.
So they're wearing similar clothes. You can tell it's probably in the earlier days.
Yeah.
And they're snooping around. I think they don't think Bjorn is here. Because they've kind of walked in with a certain level of like, I'm alone. Like, I'm not expecting anyone to be here.
Yeah.
And actually, can I say that he's not there at the start?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because I'm imagining Willow walking into like the kitchen. Is there a word for the kitchen? A ship word?
The
I keep
galley.
forgetting. The galley. That's the one.
Yes.
And I think one of the first things, like Willow walks in and notices, of course, it's the early days, so they're still like sussing out the airship. But I think they're gonna notice if we want to start at the very beginning. Hey Zeke, I'm gonna ask you a question. We're starting at the top or somewhere in the middle?
I was thinking in the middle. Because I'm thinking of not Willow remembering where it all started, but rather running on the intuition of like, I'm hungry, I'm gonna go get a snack from Bjorn in the kitchen. Or
So
like, I'm gonna go
true.
get a snack. Hopefully Bjorn doesn't mind, sort of thing.
Yes, then it isn't meeting. Okay.
Yeah.
Rewind.
Yes.
Willow's in here. They've been here before, and they're used to this routine.
Yeah.
Bjorn isn't always a fan of it. I feel like Bjorn likes presenting his food when it's ready.
Yeah.
Not Willow snacking out of his prep bowls, you know?
Yeah.
But
He's stealing his fucking
carrots.
his carrot sticks.
Why are you eating dry spaghetti? Anyway, yeah. So is Bjorn here then? He can be here.
Yeah, I would say that like we see Willow coming down the stairs to the galley, and like the distant hum of Bjorn, sort of like the hum and the rhythm of a knife cutting through vegetables, like that rhythmic shop 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 shop. That's just like a nice little, like, it's almost like a little trot that Willow's footsteps sync up to as they squeeze into the narrow room of the galley and see like the broad shoulders of Bjorn kind of hunched a little bit as he's working on whatever meal he's preparing for the crew. I think there's like I think it's like something light and summery, like a summer salad with like apples and carrots.
Hunched. Now, surely, if this is further down the track, it's no longer any narrow. It's no longer that narrow.
That's true. You have made some modifications so he's not as squeezed in as he used to.
The airship was not. The airship was made for primarily Lyrander use, which is primarily half-elves.
Bjorn's pretty big for anybody's size.
Of course. I do believe one of the first times Willow came in here, one of the first things they noticed is that Bjorn hardly fits in here, and he's working in horrible conditions. Not horrible per se, but certainly
could
not
be improved.
Optimized. Yes.
Yeah.
So I do believe that like there are small adjustments made where structurally possible, especially for the early days.
Yeah.
You know, certain areas that it's clear that something has been changed. I think you can tell Fen looks at them quite gladly when they come through, but they are also assessing other things that need to be done. I think seeing that he's still kind of a little bit hunched, Willow's looking at what parts of the ceiling.
It's mostly a headroom issue, it seems to be. Certainly, like, the counters are now at an appropriate height where he's no longer, like, having to bend his back in uncomfortable ways, but it's just like his head is ducked down while he's chopping.
Yeah, Willow came in with purpose to get food, and now they're kind of like distracted by how to improve that. Going to hurt his neck in the long run.
Yeah. You kind of like glance around and then also like casually take a bite of take a piece of carrot from like the chopping board.
Willow's doing that thing again. Fen's doing that thing again where they're just kind of clearly clicking over about something. But I think he knows by now that they're assessing the structure of the room.
I think Bjorn says, well, hey, and Willow knows in the memory he's about to thank them for fixing up the counters. They're a lot more comfortable now, even though like you've had this conversation a couple times. Like, oh, he's about to thank you for it again while you're like making assessments and tell you that like how long it'll be until lunch. But the memory sort of dissolves as we see an older Bjorn now, a little bit of silver in his stubble, a few more scars. Turn to you and say, "Oh, there you are. I was gonna bring up lunch. Boy, I hope the others are okay. I mean, you've all heard the stories about Karnathi prison food."
What do I roll for like a jarred feeling? Like how well
I
you
think
settle back into your skin energy.
I could see it being either a wisdom saving throw or a charisma saving throw.
Play wisdom. Gonna fight my exhaustion
Yeah.
with wisdom.
Yep.
I win.
21.
21. Okay, Willow snaps back into where
The
we
current
are.
time.
Yes, okay,
Yeah.
I'm back.
You are still eating
No.
a piece of carrot.
I am. I will say, it turns in their stomach though. There's a moment of like, I have immediately lost my appetite. Anyway, yes, Willow will snap back. The high wisdom roll means that he doesn't have to be privy to the fact that I just like
Time
Exactly.
traveled.
Yes. That's good. Good preparations. Probably be good to stock up on as much food as we have. Cooked, I mean. I'll leave that to you. That's your wheelhouse. Willow gestures around at the wheelhouse. Get it? It's a pun because it's not the wheelhouse, it's a kitchen.
Yeah.
That's a galley. It's a better galley now after my
Yeah.
repairs all these years ago, which
Yeah.
are still here. Yes, of course they
Yep.
would be. They wouldn't unaccessibilize the kitchen.
No.
Of course. Anyway, not the point though.
Bjorn says, I can cut you some apple if you like. Don't know when the
I
last
can-
time you ate was.
Well, I ate a feast bug on the way here. And you don't need to cut my apples, I can just eat it. If that's okay. Not to be rude. Well,
All right, then. Hands you an apple.
thanks. Willow's got that feeling like a conversation is going to start unless they zip out the room immediately. Or is that risk of starting?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same fear I get around Varys. God, he's going to say something. So shall I leave? Is there
Up to
anything
you.
I should check on him about? I'm going to do a quick assessment of him to make sure he's okay.
Perception check or insight check?
Perception. Damn, 22 at disadvantage.
Dang. Yeah, Bjorn is looking good, a little bit tired and a little bit sort of like a little bit puffed in the way that people who've been like doing physical labor for most of the day are, of just like, ooh, need to refuel a bit. So he's clearly making enough food for the whole crew that is present.
Nice. And then some.
To have on hand.
To build up our reserves for when we get to the others as quickly as possible.
I think he's making like sort of like a big Scooby-Doo sandwich style thing for everybody. Good travel food.
Cool.
Maybe not sandwich, but like more of a like stuffed pita.
Yum. God. Arr. Yeah. No. All good. Whatever he makes. Good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think I have anything more to say to him. Am I really trying to snack my way out of a nap? Kind of, yeah. I think I'm just trying to perk myself up. Willow's gonna just sort of excuse themselves if he doesn't have anything more to say. Sort of like, yep, as you are, and then head back on deck. What is there left to fix? Like everything, obviously.
Yeah, there's you fixed most of the damage to the bottom strut. I believe Claptrap has completely fixed up the port strut, and is now like adding on to the starboard strut that you and Maymay were working on.
Mm-hmm. No, like, so basically anything I have left to fix is just kind of reinforcing everything that we've, like, everything is physically in place. I just need to make, like, the windwards, I guess, or the other stuff that's fallen out of whack.
Yeah, it's just like, it's fine-tuning the repairs, basically.
Okay.
Again, it's like, you have fixed the vast majority of the damage, so, like, structurally it is sound, but it's like, there are certain bits where it's like it still needs bracing, or like glue needs to dry, that sort of thing.
Is it all time related stuff? Like, does it need a sec?
Some of it needs a sec, some of it is like it needs attention.
Oh, okay. Then
So I assume you're like eating your apple as you're like mentally running through what needs to be done.
yeah, I do imagine Willow does that thing where they're like, you can kind of see them doing like, I don't think are they called bunny hops? No, I don't know. Like jumping a little, like to just jog themselves awake.
Mm-hmm.
Little head swats and stuff. They know that the best option would be to sleep. They don't trust that they're going to.
Make another perception check at disadvantage.
18.
You hear the sound of Varys approaching.
Oh. Okay, yep.
He says, "Oh, Willow, there you are."
I'm mid-jump. Turn around to assess him. Hi. Bjorn has apples.
So he does. I was actually looking for you. Varys sort of stalls.
I am insight checking you immediately. I got a 5. I don't know what to make of it. I got that hazy, like, Willow will immediately... Wait, quickly. I'm going to quickly look at the wheelhouse that he just came from, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do a perception check. I don't know what I think I'm going to see. Especially on a 10. Coulton's still driving, I assume.
Yeah. It's the wheels locked in place, and it looks like there's some background activity. Because you're going so slow, it doesn't require a whole lot of, like, active attention. It's more like keeping an eye.
Okay, so Coulton's, like, in
moment.
there.
Yeah. You can see the motion of, like, there's a person with long red hair moving around in there.
Yeah. Well, it's either my sleep paralysis demon or it's Coulton Brightman, so yeah, anyway. Maybe one and the same. Anyway! I'll look at Varys now and kind of, like, concerned, because I've had no insight. Say, what happened?
I was actually going to ask you that. Brightwind gave me sort of a basic rundown, but he says you're talking to En and perhaps Luca?
Occasionally when En contacts me with the usual spell.
Where are they? what happened to them? All we saw was, well, what we saw. And we've been traveling since then, and
Wait, didn't I tell him? I told him last. Didn't I tell him? When he stopped me and I pulled my gun on him, didn't I tell him that they were okay? And then he was like, "Oh, thank goodness. Then we should go Fort Fathomless or something. Like we should change course." And then that's
Yes.
when I forced myself to go to Coulton.
yes, he knows that much, but, like, he doesn't know the rest.
What's the rest?
How did they end up there? How did they... What's their status? The rest of the crew?
Oh, they're all alive,
That's good.
but still obviously in Fort Fathomless, so I guess the rest of it is unfathomable. But that is why we're sort of rushing to get there. Which is good now
Yes,
that you
yes.
are able to drive, so you and Coulton can take turns, we'll move quickly. Yeah, Luke is doing his best, and so is N.
Well, good. I was just wondering, because I hadn't heard from them at all, and technically Anne can also talk to me. But
Oh,
obviously you're in a better position to keep them abreast of our situation.
oh, I feel so bad. Oh, it just hit me like a sack of bricks. Like, Willow's like, I thought I said it. No, I told Coulton. Anyway, it's okay. It's okay. Varys looks nervous, scared for everyone, right?
Yes.
Shit.
Uh,
Oh, Varys looks Hold on, I just remembered everything.
Willow
just-
clicking back into place.
Yeah, no, I just clicked. I was like, Varys, why would Varys be nervous about the entire crew? Oh. Oh, no. Oh my god.
But it's good to hear that they're all right.
Yeah.
Suppose it's,
No, there's-
the best we can do is make haste, though you look quite worn out.
How do I reassure him? How do I reassure him that everyone's okay? Just so we know the thought process going through Willow's mind. It's like, why would Varys be nervous? It's not like he lost his entire crew once.
Sound of an anvil hitting Willow.
Oh.
Dung.
Oh god. Anyway, it's fine. It's not fine. Feels bad. This is the same kind of feels bad that like I was getting activated with N around. That's okay. The brief reprieve of a flashback before being reminded of the stakes of everything and everybody in the entire world all the time. Not the entire world all the time, just the people aboard this ship
Mhm.
and the other ship. And everyone related to us. Anyway,
I suppose you haven't had a chance to rest.
no. I'm sorry, otherwise I would have shared the information around. Are you,
It's alright, we've been through quite a lot in the last, what is it, 12 hours?
Willow also remembers that they didn't really check on him at all after the storm. Also part of his tragic backstory. You know, the part where he was freaked out before and holding on to Fish Dog for dear life. And what was it? Swore he heard voices of the dead or something like that? Oh,
Glad we showed Khorvaire on our tails. Don't think they'll be catching up to us. Certainly not over land. Varys is just like talking, sort of like making idle chatter in the background as Willow is overclocking, so you're like getting bits and pieces of it. I think there's he makes a throwaway joke of like, glad Brightwind doesn't consider me an enemy. He struck that flyer out of the sky like a bolt from the blue.
Can I insight Varys again? I don't need to really because I feel like I've clicked, but like, even just a perception check. Like, how does he look? 10. Mid.
He's suffering no injury, but like is clearly concerned for you.
The first thought in my mind is I miss En and Luca.
Mm.
It just reminds me of like back at Sky Shriek when like I knew that it would be rough, but I could proceed on with what I needed to do because I knew that like En and Luca were gonna monitor Varys. I think En did.
Yep.
Yeah. I miss my crew. It's gonna really suck if anything happens. No, that's not how we're thinking at the moment. Willow's going to kind of, with their eyes kind of squeezed shut for a moment, they clap Varys on the shoulder to like kind of stop him from that idle, nervous banter with himself, especially because the last thing you mentioned was that flyer that Coulton just like. Yeah, well, what else was going to happen? Anyway, that's not the point. Willow will look back at Varys now, really try and focus on him and situate themselves in the moment. Are you doing okay?
I've been worse.
Yeah, I don't like to set the bar where your worst would be.
No, I suppose we shouldn't be doing that. I'm alright, I'm worried. Not just about the others, but you as well. Glad you found your glasses.
Well, Coulton did, but...
Oh.
Willow was going to say something, but then immediately forgot, because what was he talking about? He's nervous. If it comforts you to hear, we've both agreed to work together at least until we find the others, so that we're not letting everything get in the way of everything else.
Ah, well. That's good news.
I assume he was... Willow squints. They doubt this. I was gonna say polite to you. No, Coulton. Willow pauses for a second. Effective as a teacher?
This has certainly been a bit of a trial by fire.
You're handling it very well.
Thank you, Captain.
Willow squints like, don't call me that.
Sorry, force of habit.
Force of habit? Willow like pauses and squints at that like, you've been a captain for longer than you've seen me as one. Unless? Maybe I'm not the only one time travel? No, okay, we don't have to think about that. Oh, maybe we do. No, it's okay. Willow squints at him a bit. You can't see it, but... Well, you can see their face kind of narrow at him.
Regardless, I'm doing alright. We'll be doing better once we're over open sea again. Feels a bit odd flying over land.
It does, though. Okay, Willow's gonna try and think of ways that they've kind of like anchored themselves before. Willow will ask him first. You're not afraid of heights, are you? Be a bad time to figure that out.
No, I'm not. Not inherently, no.
Do you want to know how we get used to it?
How?
Willow nods their head to the side of the ship. It's nothing too dramatic, just like this. Willow leans over the rail.
The camera sees Varys start a little as like Willow flops over the side of the rail and it's just like then cautiously approaches and looks over. We see the rolling, rugged landscape of Stone Spur below, where you can just see like the trees wind-swept, the low-lying shrubs, the dramatic cliffs and mountainsides. And you hear Varys do a little sort of awed gasp.
I think Willow kind of talks as they're leaned over. They'll say, everything about your survival instinct will be telling you that this is a bad idea and a very unnatural situation. However, the longer you look at it, I suppose the more you're going to train your brain to understand that it's not a threat, actually. The more you can look at it, maybe you'll be able to see that there is something pleasant about it. Sometimes it may make you sick. But for the most part, I've found that there's more intrigue to be found. Nothing really gets less frightening by ignoring it.
Oh, I suppose not. It is amazing.
Willow's like, this is a bad idea. My head's full of sand. I think they pull themselves back like, okay, not on no sleep. Failing that, you could also look at the ring, the elemental ring. You know more about how this ship works than most people because you watched me repair it.
That's true. I suppose. Are you doing all right, Willow?
I think my answer's going to be just as lackluster as yours.
You'll at least try to rest, won't you?
I think if Willow had any thought in their mind of pushing through it, even just like hoisting themselves over the side of the ship kind of felt like a and just I need to sit down. But no, I think it happened before that. It was when they realized that they haven't been paying attention to Varys. Or anyone, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's not safe for them to be doing that.
I can help the others. They've been showing me the ropes, I suppose.
The struts.
Not much rigging on an airship.
Tell you what.
Hmm?
What should I think? Willow puts her hands on their hips and looks around. Look around the ship and find 5 things about an airship that are better than a waterfaring ship. And if you do that, I will go and sit down. Agreed? Willow will hold out a hand to shake.
Varys gives you a look of like, hey.
Hand is out.
Oh, fine. Shakes your hand. 5 things. Well, you don't have to struggle against the swell.
You don't have to tell me. Willow was going to leave him to it while they went away. It's a thought exercise for him. It's something to occupy his mind while he goes around and does things.
Mm-hmm.
So Willow goes, keep it to yourself.
Varys makes a little frustrated noise, but shakes his head and lets you go. Just in a sort of like, you...
I'll give you one for free.
Aye?
We are in a better position than any other vehicle to get to En and Luca and the others as quickly as possible.
Varys nods.
Willow will leave him with that and leave.
Okay.
They have to believe it too.
Yeah. I think you head down to the galley, see Bjorn coming by with, like, a basket of pitas. He hands you one as you're like approaching it, and just sort of gently makes you sit down at the bench.
Don't make me. I will sit on my own accord. Willow will take a pita. They will not take instruction.
Yeah. Just hover hands you towards the bench.
That's why I'm back.
Yeah. You sit down. You eat. Boy, do you eat.
Mm.
You've got like the tired hungries.
Yeah. No, it's one of those like bites. Oh, yes. Yum. And then bites Bjorn's food. I missed it so much. And then bites. I wonder if the others have eaten. Oh, they don't even have rations. Oh, and then bites. It tastes like gravel to me, knowing the others aren't eating. What are they eating? You know? Bites. It's nice to be back, though. There really is no more comfortable place in this place than here. Bites. Well, I guess other than the captain's quarters, but that's different. The bed is no longer there, so it's different. You know, like the bedding, the furnishings of the Kraken Slayer are no longer here, so I guess this is the best we got. Bites. Like, it's just the warmth of the room. By the end of it, Willow's like, goes for a bite, and there's no more. Like, oh. I stress
Empty hand. Yeah. Crumbs. Where did my pita go?
Oh.
It's like when you go to take a sip of a drink and it's empty and you're like, who drank it?
Okay. I'm getting the restless leg. You know what? I'm not gonna eat another pita bread. It's just gonna... yeah, anyway. That's what I was a bit nervous about. Rest is not reaching me. The stress of inactivity is.
Mm-hmm.
Willow's got the restless leg going.
Yeah. Thump, 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 thump.
Yeah.
I think you've like pushed your pita to like you started to reach for the pita, the second pita. Decide no, pushed it to the side. Flop on the like tapping. You've got the like student lying on their desk posture of like I'm bored and exhausted and I can't do either things.
The stretches between N contacting me are somehow impossibly huge at the moment.
Yeah.
And I mean, technically we did outpace Khorvaire, but there is more yet from that. Like, if he's heading to the fort, then I have not even begun to talk to... That's not the point, don't worry about it. It's not useful.
So, yeah.
Oh, it's not useful.
You're sort of spinning your wheels. Give me a perception check.
8.
You can hear the sound of crew talking above you in a sort of muffled way. You don't really understand it. You're too busy sort of figuring out your own shit of like, what can I do next? No, it's dangerous to do repairs. I'm too tired for that. God, I hope and fucking calls me soon. And then eventually you like raise your head as you hear footsteps approaching. And see Coulton briefly pause in the doorway as he sees you, then continue walking right on in.
Oh, okay.
I
think I'd be
pita
set
in
up.
hand, and like sits across from you.
Okay, I'm gonna say I'd be sat up by the time he heads in. Is the galley an eating place?
Yeah. There's the little sort of the mess that's like just outside the galley, where you can like actually sit down and eat.
Gotcha. He's across from me how? Like on a bench?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there's like two benches on a table, and you were like lying on one side.
Oh, got you.
And Coulton has just decided like, I will sit opposite you because it would be weird for me to sit anywhere else.
Thank you for making that choice. Cool. Now it's too weird for me to stand up too, so I just have to. Yep, I'll be here. I mean, he could have left, but no, that's also weird. So I guess okay. Is anyone else coming?
Looks like it's just him.
Awesome. Well, I probably needed to talk to him anyway about the Khorvaire situation. Probably. Or any of the situation.
Yep.
But he's eating, so I won't. I'm holding the second Peter like I'm planning to eat it just for something to do.
Coulton finishes his mouthful. Says, so with Khorvaire on our tail, we have got to get to the Storm Chaser. Any news from the others?
And passed on a message from Emma about whether you have any questions. They're all fine.
Right. Don't suppose we know the status of the Storm Chaser?
Other than harpooned and in the sea? Not really. Other than what I told you before.
And the crew's still locked up, or
No,
what?
they're free. And I believe
How
freed
free?
them from the dungeons. Well, they're still at Fort Fathomless.
Okay, do they have weapons?
Willard brings out a book so that they can write the questions. If I know anything about N, they have knives.
Something. Look, this isn't even what I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to ask if there's a way to put one of the two elementals that you've installed on this ship on the other one.
I could figure something out.
You still remember your way around the Storm Chaser's engine?
Willow, scoff laughs under their breath. Unless you've done anything to change it.
He shrugs. Somebody installed a shield on it.
Willow doesn't say anything to that. They will... You know what? I'm going to say they had a drink with them. They would just take a drink. Like water.
Mm-hmm. Belle's been trying to figure out how to get airships running without the need for dragon marks.
Willow will nod. Yeah, I've heard.
Oh, of course you've heard. Anyway, there should be an extra supply of saw wood aboard the Storm Chaser, since we just finished our mission to Eberron to pick up more of those saplings for them to cultivate in Lorgalen. So whatever repairs we can't make on our own here, we can at least split some of the supplies if we absolutely need it, otherwise.
Yep, Willow nods. That's good to know.
I will say
They
this
didn't know
some
that
of this
information.
is no.
No, they didn't know that before, but it's kind of like, well, now I do. They kind of like, they hear that and they're like, oh, I see.
Little insight check for Coulton to see if he notices, but I'm going to guess 16. See if you react to the new information.
I'm not really hiding it. I think Willow's eyebrows go up like, oh, I see. That's good to know.
What, you didn't know that already? Thought you were supposed to know everything.
Just what's reasonable. I don't know your flight paths.
He gives a little suspicious squint, and then it's like... Eats.
Okay, he did talk about Khorvaire and Lyranda. I think Willow's sort of idly writing now. There's nothing much to add to that except for the fact that we need to just get there faster. Which, Willow's not saying this out loud, but this is what they're kind of... Like, it's not that complicated, surely. We just have to get there faster than them. But then also we have to figure out how to repair it before they get there. Willow's going to then mention... No, I don't think they'll mention it yet. Am I at the stage where I am in the... I think Willow's kind of murmuring to themselves.
Yeah.
Because that is the straightforward bit. Like, we just get there faster than them. But then have to figure out a way to repair the storm chaser just before they get there. Which will be either a matter of speed or of rerouting Khorvaire, depending on how quickly we move, which will depend on how quickly I repair, which will depend on how well Coulson sails. Because 10 hours quickest, we're not only racing the skeletons, we're racing Khorvaire.
Yeah.
Granted, he has the... No, I think part of this might end up being said out loud too. So Willow kind of begin to murmur out loud, we just need to get there before Khorvaire, rather before the engine resets at midnight.
What engine?
The spell engine that's powering the skeletons.
Okay. Get there before midnight.
Of course. Because we'll be fighting the skeletons from within, the wizard, the castellan, whoever else. Assuming the crew doesn't already figure a way around that, Luca is liaising with the Emerald Claw and is sustaining with the crew. Emma's managing with the crew. Pond under the cave, something. And then we have Khorvaire and Lyranda behind us, and as long as we create enough room to get there with enough time to repair the storm chaser, then it won't be a problem. And if we fall behind or slack in any way, then it would become a matter of rerouting or distracting Khorvaire while the repairs are made, which has...
Now that we know they're there, we can certainly focus, if it comes to that, on actually fighting them off. Do we know for sure that they're heading that way?
I highly suspect it due to my, our actions at the convocation.
Right.
Whether he brings the Lyranda along is, I suppose, something that Emma might know, actually. Willow perks. I gave her some surveillance notes.
Yeah, funny that. Didn't have a chance to look at them.
Willow sighs. Willow gave... Anyway, sighs, whatever.
Anyway, what I'm thinking is that if we get there, we can drag the storm chaser away. At least. Somewhere where they won't look for us. For a bit. Get a little bit of a head start. Hopefully do some repairs on the fly. Well, on the float. It's bad enough that it's in the water, but I'm not letting them get hands on it.
Of course.
He gives you a look like... Really?
What? Willow looked like, yeah, they matched that conviction very firmly, and they look back at him like, what's with the face? Like, they're not going to say it, but what? What? Like, that's the energy. Sorry, they're not saying it.
Yeah,
Feel free to elaborate. Yeah.
Yeah. Give me a little insight check.
Inside check, and it's a 4. Ooh.
There's a little condescending sneer on his face, but you don't know why. And Coulter just like moves on from the subject. So get there fast. As soon as repairs are good enough, we can start using the double speed again. It's one benefit to that. 2, count the fact that we'll be able to refill the storm chaser.
It's all benefits, really.
Think of a couple detriments.
Willow looks. There's like a subtext conversation happening with them with just their faces. Willow saw his sneer and is like, "What's that about?" And they didn't ask about it, but it's now like fueling a little quiet. Like, what? What now? What are you complaining about? Like, it's he's got plenty to complain about, but that's not the point. You know, the like, what does he mean by detriments? Willow squints. Whatever, they'll let it go if he's not going to elaborate.
Yeah, he doesn't elaborate. Need to ask the others how many ballista bolts we still have, grappling hooks, that sort of thing. Well, hopefully, Emma and your crew will have shit sorted by the time we get there.
Willow nods. That is the plan.
What's your crew capable of, anyway?
Most things. I'm not being elusive. Literally, that. He asks that, and in their mind, Willow's just thinking back to like all of the gaps in their function that have made themselves like abundantly clear since they got here and they've been operating without the crew.
Mm-hmm.
There are conversations that Anne would have done better. There's like moments for kindness and warmth that Luca would have done better. There's words to be found, you know? How did Willow comfort Varys? They told him, stare at the thing that scares you until it stops scaring you. Coming from the person who hasn't looked at a thing that scared them their entire life, it feels their entire life since leaving, you know, like it's... You're asking what the crew does. Willow's like, everything I can't. Next question. Anyway. That's not helpful. That's not helpful and it's not true.
Weapons, magic, healing.
Willow's gonna say, Lucas, does the word paladin exist in universe? No. He's
Yes,
a
it
soldier.
does.
No, but I don't call him a soldier. It does?
My paladin is my rank within my church.
Yes.
Oh,
So like,
you're a pal.
yeah, Father
Yeah.
Luca is actually Paladin Luca, formally.
Oh, okay. We need to stop making jokes so I actually know how you're referred to in canon.
Yeah. Well, Seeker Luca still, but like, Paladin is my rank. Paladin is my rank.
Yeah.
Willow will say, actually, you know what? Let me open my captain's log because I've actually written reports up on you guys before.
Hell yeah.
I'm not
Does
bringing
Willow
it
pull...
here.
Oh, okay.
No, it's just from memory. Oh, unless my memory fucking sucks at the moment, which it does. But, well,
It would be very... It would be
Funny?
a very funny
Tell me about
visual
me.
for Willow to
would.
pull out their captain's log from the other ship.
We consult my notebook about my crew.
About my friends.
literally.
Here are my
okay,
notes
no.
on my friends.
Oh, Willow's okay, fine. Willow's from nowhere, from their pocket.
From their party
Willow-
pockets.
From their party pockets, Willow pulls a tome with an arcane lock on it. They turn away from Coulton to whisper something to it, and it opens.
Uh-huh.
So he knows it's an arcane lock with some kind of password spell.
Uh-huh.
God. And then they kind of prop it up on the table. He can't see it, but they will just read from it. Okay. Shit. Mim to self. I didn't fill out N section. But that's okay because I study N. Yes, no, I study N.
Also,
it's okay. Well,
I'm so curious to see what gets said.
I know, I'm trying to think.
N is an enigma. It's fine.
How much of this fucking campaign have I spent explaining my crew to other people? Through this book. Anyway, whatever. Okay, so we have Luca and N. Also Varys, but you spoke to Varys, yes? Okay.
Colton, like, acknowledges you through a mouthful of Peter.
Yes, and also it's not the point, that's not what he's asking. So Luca, the one currently pretending to be a part of the Emerald Claw, currently Seeker of the Divinity Within, the Blood of Vol type Paladin.
And how is that different from the actual ones that... What's the difference?
Between what, sorry?
The bloody voles or whatever the hell, and the fucked up order, claw order.
Sorry. Well, one of them is a military cult, the other one is a religion.
Okay.
Willow's reading through all this stuff that doesn't need to be said, which is like, former Carnathi Knight Captain, Cavalry Unit. He is guided by Blood of Vol and spent the past year under the guidance of Secret Elsa. He has a small mark of the Sentinel on the back of his neck. That, according to Aggie, saved his life, named by his dog tags. People skills, sword, bow, polearm proficiency, can make potions, dragon mark magic, healing. Factions, Carnathi Military, Order of the Emerald Claw, Regalport, Blood of Vol Temple, Sea Dragons. I'm trying to think what's useful. Willow will just say, he's strong, has a sword, has a shield, can use other magic. And now they'll look at the N section. N is a... Am I allowed to say this?
What other
There's a
magic?
pause.
Healing, hurting.
Healing mainly. He works in a clinic for ages. And hurting
Okay,
as
that's
well.
good to know.
Yes.
Great.
Actually, both of them know healing magic. Willow looks back at N. They're looking at N section, and it's basically reading like an FBI blocked out
Dossier.
text of like, what can I say? I know, I'm looking at
I
N's
don't
like,
envy you.
Just the continued black bars of redacted, redacted, redacted.
literally.
N is redacted.
Willow's looking at the N section, and I feel like Coulton knows from the look on Willow's face that they're trying to figure out how to lie.
Look, we're already in the shit. Don't try and sell me any...
I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm trying to figure out what not to say. N's capable of some... Willow gets a flashback to the big, swirling void of hell that N opened at the sundown.
Yeah, the
wet
slurps.
void.
The wet void.
Slurping
N's-
void, please. We don't know its texture.
I mean,
Slurpy and cold. There was
you
acid
slurp?
also.
if it's not wet, is my thing.
I
don't
don't
think
know.
you
It's
can.
it's an
Exactly.
alien magic. We don't know what it's
There is
capable of.
acid secretion, so that implies wet.
Burning
Yeah,
wet. These are
this is the
distinctly
wet
different.
This is the you guys chattering in Willow's brain as they're trying to go, well, I don't want to tell him specifically about that. Okay, Willow will go, N's capable of quite unique magic. Healing and massively destructive.
In what ratio? Because the way you're saying that...
Oh, mostly destruction, a little bit of healing. But very significant healing.
Okay.
I am confident that they will be able to deal with the skeletons, at least, especially with the Storm Chaser crew. They have been through many other combat scenarios and come out unscathed. Well, They've survived them.
Great.
Also, they have people skills. So if Luca is lying, he is probably doing okay. He does have amnesia, which is a concern. But that,
I'm gonna have Coulton roll a little intelligence check here. Let's see.
Does he not know what amnesia is? Me either, bro.
he rolled an 8.
Isn't that like... Is that why he's part of the bloody voles? Because he's got no blood?
Anemia? No, because Coulton's dumb.
He's tired.
Oh, no, Willow's gonna say it to him now. Anemia?
What's the other one then?
Amnesia. No memories. How tired are you?
Fuck off.
And it's blood of vole, not bloody voles.
Why should I give a fuck? Why do you give a fuck anyway?
About
It's
what?
not like
You
you've
not
ever
knowing
put...
what amnesia is. Because you're the captain of this ship.
Music stops a moment.
No, Willow gestures near their ear. What were you trying to say? Willow laughs in his face again.
Coulton throws like a napkin at you.
Willow swats it away. If anyone's anemic, it's N. They're very little.
Rolls his eyes. Okay, any of them got any technical skills?
What do you mean?
Like repairing ship skills?
Oh, no. Well, kind of. Not really. I am their only exposure to ships. And this is the first little excursion I took them on, so... Yay.
How long have you known these people?
What was thinking? 6 months?
That makes Coulton like surprised. Only?
I mean, I wasn't looking.
Looking for what? Friends?
A crew.
Yeah, I suppose you wouldn't be.
What's that supposed to mean?
I think Coulton just like shoves the rest of his food in his mouth, stands up and heads to leave.
Rolls her eyes. Willow gets a little bit like prickly at what he said, and they're like, according to what I heard, you're the one that doesn't have any friends.
Oh, where'd you hear that from? Colbicon's information?
Sorry. No. Orkan. Willow looks flatly at him, like, what's his reaction to that?
Do a little charisma check. That's about one.
You. Damn, I said, should I be mean? And I said, I can make it worse. Cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brightwind. What you got to say?
How the fuck do you know him?
Whoa, change of tone.
So what, everybody else except me gets to know you're back in town? When did you talk to him? The fuck did he say?
Relax, I didn't. One of the many skills of my crew.
Oh, good. You've got spies now.
I don't have spies. You have spies. Wait. Willow pauses. I do have spies. I have 2 spies.
You have spy singular.
It's one of the redacted notes.
think.
You don't have a spy.
Well, technically, Varys was a spy.
Oh my
Spies.
god, you have spies.
I have
plural.
spies.
I'm
And you're
still
kind of being a
actively a
spy,
spy.
at the moment. N is my active spy. Willow doesn't say that and then gives that face of like, I'm lying. Anyway, don't worry about it.
Oh, you don't?
He can insight check me. I'm not saying anything.
Sure. Still a disadvantage because he's pissed off and tired. 18.
Uh-oh. Deception. Piss. 4.
The piranha Emma told me about that chased Gardenia? That's not a spy? Or is that the attack dog?
Willow briefly pauses to think, like, well, technically both, and is both. They're both actually kind of attack dogs. Luke is more like a self-defense, like a guard dog. You know what? Willow might say this out loud. I suppose N is both. Luke is more of a guard dog.
Fun.
Ragtag crew.
I've got Emma. And I've got my crew. Which is more than you can say, apparently.
Willow nods like, yeah. Yup, that's the situation. Yeah, like, what am I meant to do with that?
But hey, if you're good with sea dragon leftovers, who am I to judge?
That leftover is going to be responsible for driving your ship, steering your ship, while you nap.
Not my first choice. Not my choice at all.
Yeah, we all know how your first choice ended up.
I guess I don't need to ask you how you feel about this situation. Not that I needed to ask you at all. Not that you didn't make it abundantly clear how you felt when you left.
Okay. You were leaving?
Ooh, the contrarian in him now, like... It's like, you were leaving actually. That triggers the knee-jerk stubbornness of no.
I think if he does approach... It's the stupidest thing to offer up at the moment, but it is very Willow too. If he looks like Willow saying you were leaving makes him not leave, Willow will add, or are we fighting?
I don't think you could put up much of a fight right now.
What could you mean? Willow stands, hand on the sword. I just had a very nutritious meal prepared by the wonderful Bjorn. I'm full of energy.
Coulton also hand on sword. Doesn't seem like the smart thing to do.
That's probably why you're going to do it.
Hey, you're the one that picked the fight with me in the first place. Roll initiative.
Oh, fuck's That was Mim in the background being like, fuck's sake. Are we fighting in the fucking kitchen?
You're fighting in the dining room outside the
Okay.
kitchen.
Oh my god. Oh my god, we're actually fine. Good, smart.
I
These two are
was
so
joking.
intelligent.
When I said to fuck.
I'm sorry, have you met Willow? They're always ready to offer you out for a fight, like, immediately. So, like, what's the transition scene? Because I'm imagining, like, the lightning eye contact is certainly happening.
Yeah, I think it's like lightning eye contact, and let's just have a little contested athletics check.
At
Of
disadvantage.
just like who. Yep, both of you are at disadvantage. He's
Okay, cool.
also exhausted.
Who seems to get the upper hand before the screen switches?
Colton.
Damn! By
Please
a
read those
long
numbers
shot.
out for posterity.
I got a 3.
And Colton got a 16.
Cool.
Rip.
No, it's okay. That's just the first move.
By Willow.
Yes.
Or
It's
well,
just the
unless
first
we
move.
are we fighting, or is that him winning immediately?
I think it's a spar.
Okay. Yeah, no, it needs to
It's
be
a spar in the sense of like I'm pissed off at you and I'm going to keep hitting you until I'm not pissed off.
Yeah. Okay, we switching back
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
at the first.
If I may give a
clash.
visual, I do imagine that it's the kind of thing where you see both of them from over the shoulder of the other one as they draw their swords, and the music kind of swells as they charge into each other, and it's very clear that Coulton's got the other hand. And just before the blades like cross each other, it cuts, and in this instance, I'm imagining the sound of the swords hitting kind of like a shing as Dorna's boot kind of hits the rung of one of the ladder
Ooh.
steps.
Banger.
Ooh.
So that kind of thing.
Pow.
Very
Vibes. Yum. Thank
cool.
you.
Hell yeah. I'll take it.
I'm very visual. That's my one thing.
Yes. So, and you are clambering up the rungs with Dorna and emerge into the prison room where you can still see all of the remains of the
Mhm.
skeletons and so on.
I gaze upon the piles of my enemies.
Yeah.
Let me gaze upon this wretched thing, holding N gently.
I was gonna say bodies, but they're kind of like not quite.
The bones?
Yeah, they're piles of bones.
Not really full bodies.
That's why I said the piles of bones of my enemies. I can't really differentiate one from the other.
This is the femur. This is the humerus. These are all the different little phalanges.
This is pretty humorous.
Yep. You and Dorna clamber out. Dorna walks over to one of the skeletons, picks up a skull, and will smash it into a wall.
And just watching her for a moment.
She basically grips the skull like a bowling ball and then crushes the back of the cranium into the brick, shattering the bone and crunching it.
And gives an impressed whistle. Damn,
We crush enough bones, no more skeletons.
I like the way you think. Crushing is not exactly my forte. Looks at their hands. Looks at a pile of bones. Shrugs. And blasts it to see if the bones just go flying or if they do any damage.
I think that, yes, you can use Eldritch Blast to obliterate bone.
Good to know. Save that for later encounters as well.
I mean, at this point, they're it's no longer a moving target. It is
Yes.
an object, so
I'm
and it's also you do have your Daredevil glove, so you can just hold it in your hand and then
say, if
Mm.
N picks it up and does the Amadeus style Yorick, and then just explodes their hand,
yeah, it is a little
Shut
bit
up.
of shotgun blast into skull.
Yeah, one thing I was going to ask, is there any container around here that I could gather a bunch of bones into and then just mortar and pestle but Eldritch Blast and bucket these bones into dust?
You're making mochi.
Yes.
I think the only container that would be in this level is probably any of the chamber pots.
Yeah, we're not going to use that. So instead what I'm going to do is probably gather the bones into the corner of one of the cells and just start like blasting them while they're gathered there. Like,
Yeah.
because yes,
Just crunching them.
picking one up at a time and like Daredevil gloves blasting it is an option, but N wants to try and destroy as many as quickly as possible, so they want more of a blender effect.
Yeah.
So Dorna just sees them like scoop bones up into their little arms and then waddle off into one of the cells, and the clatter of bones like being dropped on the floor. They do that a couple times, and then just like magical purple explosions coming from somewhere inside the darkness of the cell.
I think Dorna is just like straight up crushing them.
Yeah,
Uh,
we both have our methods.
like either like smashing them against the wall or like breaking them over her knee. That sort of thing.
Very impressive.
Just like systematically wrecking room, rage room style.
Yeah, just her in the background literally smashing skulls against the wall and is like whistling to themselves while gathering bones into their arms and wandering away.
Yep.
Stress reliever, rec room.
Yeah. Think a little while in, Dorna asks, "So, how you know Fender?"
Oh, I suppose the simplest way to explain it is that they kind of saved my life.
You owe them?
They've treated me pretty well. So I suppose you could say that.
What they tell you before they come here? Before they bring you?
They did tell me that their reputation with you guys probably wasn't going to be so good on account of, you know, sabotaging your ship to prevent you all from going to war with Lyrander.
I think you hear like a loud sort of derisive snort.
I take it not really a decision you agree with.
Funny spin on things.
Oh yeah? Well, what's yours?
We still at war with Lyrander. Just using different tactics.
And like pouts their lip and gives a little nod. Yeah, I suppose that's true. That does track. We'll kind of do the same thing with me.
Oh?
See...
They also shoot you out of the sky and then save you?
Maybe metaphorically. What I'm saying is, I was on something of a warpath myself. One that maybe wouldn't have got me killed. It was Fender the one who showed me a different angle. One that maybe wouldn't immediately result in my destruction.
Fighting smart is all well and good. What they did.
A little bit intense.
Is unforgivable.
And bounces the brows. What makes you say that? Fill me in. I've only got Fender's side of the story.
Make a persuasion check.
25.
Nice. Woo!
So Fender. Not just artificer. Aboard Storm Chaser. Basically co-captain.
Right.
Them and Captain Brightwind. They make lovey eyes at each other there. Always at each other's sides.
I love that this is the first time I'm getting to learn this information.
No! No! Oh, fuck. sake. Man.
Always at each other's sides. They units. She gestures and like wraps she like crosses her fingers. They like this.
Right, I follow.
So, Captain Brightwind, Lyranda don't like you much. They send assassin. Fender, stop assassin. But then you know what else Fender do? Abandon ship. Not just abandon ship. Throw out all weapons. Put us in some weird bubble. It's good for running away. Captain search for Fender. 5 years. Go to Thronehold and everything. No sign of them. That's betrayal. If they really so close, if they really had best interests in heart, they wouldn't have done that.
And nods along, considering that.
We weren't even supposed to be here, you know? We're supposed to be in Regalport, building new airships, fucking up Lyrander business plan. Just quick errand. Go fetch Emma. We fetch Emma, what'd she tell us? Change of plans. We find Fender. We finally bring traitor to justice. This happens. He crushes another skull. You just bystander. You're alright. You help us. You're a little weaselly and small, but you're alright.
And puts up hands like guilty as charged kind of gesture. Look, I just want all of us to get out of this alive. Whatever beef Colton and you and the rest of the crew have with Fender, that ain't my business.
She is going to make an insight check on you.
Oh, damn.
19. Deception or persuasion, your choice.
I think persuasion, because N is technically being honest. They're not trying to get in the middle of this beef. So that is true. I'll try persuasion. We'll see what we get.
Whew.
Dirty 20.
Thank goodness for your modifier. She nods. You fit in well with crew.
Yeah, I can't say I feel too out of place here.
We get out of this alive. We go catch Fender. We bring them to justice. Maybe crew puts in good word for you, if you're looking for another place.
I have it on good authority. I already have a good word.
Right.
But I appreciate the sentiment. And gives a wink.
Sneaky elf. Gardenia.
You clocked me as Weasley. You got a good eye. And big muscles.
Well, alright. Just don't go selling loyalty to people who do not value you.
Oh, trust me. I've learned my lesson.
And we'll cut away from this scene. Back to Luca. We return to the scene of Wulfrun working at his desk. Wulfrun IV working at his desk in the armory while Luca is playing chess with himself, apparently. It's been about an hour or so. It's largely been quiet, though occasionally Wolfrun will have a brief exchange of words with you. It's mostly questions on subjects of necromancy.
Oh, I know that.
Really? Give me a...
I mean, I've heard of her.
Give me a religion or an intelligence check.
Oh yeah, my top 2 skills. Let's go religion.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's a 16, not the worst.
So I think what he does is ask you, like, the ritual requirements for Speak with Dead or something like that. And you're like,
Oh, he's
yeah,
quizzing
I've
me?
heard-" Yeah, a little bit.
That feels familiar.
He's checking to see if you concur with him.
Of course. I think Luca, otherwise, is like idly moving the pieces on the board, trying to figure out the best course of action. So he keeps resetting to a certain point after deciding he doesn't like a particular course otherwise.
I think Wolfram makes a sound to indicate that he's done with his work. Wolfram says, "My assignments are complete."
Do you need someone to check your work?
No need. But it is time that I delivered them to my father.
Luca gives him an expectant look. Like, waiting for an order in this instance. He doesn't expect to be taken with him, but he is waiting to be told what to do in this circumstance.
You can follow me.
He's on his feet, and quite quickly at Wolfran's side, slightly a step back. Have to maintain a respectable distance, obviously.
Yes. You are not equals, after all.
Of course not.
Give me another survival or intelligence check to navigate the corridors.
Okay.
To like remember the path from this room to the next room.
17.
Good. So, you follow Wolfram the Fourth down a few corridors. It is not that far, but somewhat deeper into the fortress. You find that this is like quite close. This must be quite close to like the center of the structure, so well protected from the exterior. Wolfram knocks on the door. There's a pause. There's a pause for perhaps 2-3 minutes before you hear the Castellan's voice calling, "Enter."
Cool.
Wolfram opens the door, and you walk within. The Castellan's office is largely a library, sort of desks, and then there's archives of communication. The Castellan's writing desk and chair are made of the same rich, dark wood you've seen throughout this place, though these pieces are some of the best kept so far. The desk is occupied by neat stacks of thick parchment paper, wells of jewel-toned inks, and glossy black-feathered quills. To one side sits a tray of organized letters, their wax seals already broken. Looking to the expansive bookshelves lining the room, your eyes are drawn by a number of oddities on display. A gilded humanoid skull with pointed fangs, a brass eyeglass with several lenses of magnifying, and a couple of specimens preserved in jars of spirits. One, an eyeball with a strangely shaped pupil, and another a sickly, pale white tentacle.
Fun.
Wolfern hands the documents to his father. And Castellan says, What's he doing here? Nods over to Luca. Wolford says, I've interrogated him. Tested him. He seems to be true to the cause, despite all appearances. Castellan tilts his head and looks narrowly at you, Luca, assessing you.
Luca's standing at attention. Should I be rolling something? And if so, should I be rolling intimidation?
Oh.
Ooh. I mean, I'll let you roll intimidation.
Let's see if this goes well. Yep, that checks out. That's a nat 1.
Should I roll intimidation, Luca? Squeaky toy noise!
Pikmin!
You look like
I'm literally a pigman!
you look like a tiny doe-eyed puppy to this man, dressed like that in that ridiculous outfit, looking like a strawberry. You know,
I wasn't gonna say he looks
Yeah.
like a fruit, but
wrong. That's rude.
He's the whole fruit salad.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I'm not even surprised. Did you hear the complete lack of reaction to you rolling another nat 1? It was
Yeah.
just like, what else are you gonna roll? Sorry.
This is
But-
supposed to be my skill.
Yeah, but when you're not dealing with someone who's committed a massacre and met a million like you before, and killed a million like you before.
Anne's voice echoes in your heads like a million skeletons marching below you, like so many skeletons.
Like, shaped like you, Luca, minus the dump truck, but you know what I mean? Like, they
Just
are.
endlessly powering that engine.
Yeah.
That might actually be a fun way to flavor the failure. Instead of being intimidating, he senses like a soft level of disgusted anger at something from Luca rather than anything else. But Luca kind of looks away after a moment. But he knows that this isn't going to read as deference. He knows he's given himself away a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Castellan sort of raises an eyebrow. I'm not so sure. But my son is inexperienced as yet, so I will give you some of the benefit of the doubt. You will answer my questions next. He sets down the papers and stands up from his desk. Addresses his son. I've sent a missive to Khorvaire to inform Lyrander of the captured airship. No doubt he will be on his way promptly. I'll expect an answer with his estimated time of arrival within the next day. Keep an eye on our communication lines. Wolfram says, Yes, sir. And you, Falconturn.
Luca takes a steadying breath and makes eye contact, waiting.
What is your experience with the Emerald Claw? How long have you been a member of our order?
Brief, only a few months at most.
Who inducted you?
My handler,
Who is?
Veelia.
What was your military history before this?
My knowledge of my own history is limited. I was a knight captain of a cavalry within the Karnath army.
Why is your Why is it limited?
I was injured in some way that damaged my mind and my recollection.
Unusual, but not unheard of. So, what drew you to the Order?
Luca kind of glances around the room, trying to pick a moment for himself.
I think your eyes are drawn to the gaping sockets of the gilded humanoid skull.
20 years of my life. Almost all I had to give. In a war that ended in nothing. I simply wish to ensure nothing like that ever happens again. And the best way to ensure peace on a continent is to unite it under one flag.
Make a... Ooh. I think this is either persuasion... I think this is deception, actually. I think it has to be deception.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
19!
better than a 1. Oh my god!
Oh!
Why?
Ouch.
Caston Roland rolled a 25 on a nat 20. I see. Very well, then. You said your handler was a woman named Vaelia.
Yes.
Where did you meet her?
In Regalport. She was doing preparatory work for a mission at some event. And we had both attended the same service at the same temple.
And there she found time to induct you, apparently. I am aware of Vaelia. She is one of our active agents in this region. Promising young woman. Quite skilled. I myself have provided her with equipment for use in the field. Though it seems of late she's gotten quite slipshod. There was recently some imposter that posed as her in an attempt to obfuscate a theft. Have you heard anything of this?
Luca nods briefly. The people I was traveling with passed by the Convocation of Princes, I believe it's called. So the news traveled to us quite quickly.
Make another deception check.
Oh, fuck off.
Or a persuasion check. I'll let you do either or.
Okay, 16.
I mean, it can't
It's
be
better
worse.
than that one.
It could have been another than that 1.
Well, it seems that the imposter decided to tamper with Khorvaire specifically and blame it on the Emerald Claw. It was a drain to deal with that petty pirate prince's puffed up petulance. But the man does yet have use as an asset. No doubt being able to hand over a rival to Lyrander for ransom will soothe whatever bruising burdens his brittle ego. I will have to send a missive to Vaelia myself. Inquire why she left a charge in the care of pirates. Ones that are oppositional to our own allies at that.
Can I kind of tell that he is doubtful of me?
Make an insight check.
Clickety clickety. Oh,
Dang, man.
8.
It is difficult to read,
Mm.
but certainly you do not feel as secure as you maybe did around Wolfrun. Even if Wolfrun is like Wolfrun the Fourth is terrible to be around in specific ways, he is at least quite transparent. His father, the Castellan, Wolfrun Grimwald III, is much more calculating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you can certainly feel the sort of like danger of being in the room of somebody with this much experience.
Mm.
You can see him sort of like weighing you up in the same way that like you weigh up a lot of people of like what are their skills, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses.
Okay. Okay.
I'll let that 8 ride for now for insight on weighing him up as well.
Mm-hmm.
He is elderly. You would say mid-60s.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the scholarly, wizardly sort. But considering the wealth of knowledge that surrounds him in this room, considering the ornate objects and like arcane supplies that you can see lying around, even if you don't know what they all are, you can tell that this is just as much an armory as the one you were in with his son.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, Falconterm, how do you feel about your handler?
She is capable. Luca pauses for a moment. Probably best not to describe Ilya. How do I feel about N? Very capable. Powerful and understands things in a ways that I myself would never be able to.
You show much humility. An uncommon trait in a soldier.
Acknowledging a weakness is the only way to fortify it.
There's like a little twitch at the corner of his mouth that you think might be the closest thing to a smile that he has. And what do you think of our fortress? I'm sure my son has told you some of the history of it.
It's certainly imposing. Valuable asset. A testament to strength
He nods.
and character of its keeper. And that's not a lie, technically.
No, it's not, but I would like you to roll a persuasion check.
Yes.
This is no longer
Oh,
funny.
This is an 8.
No, shit.
No. Yep.
Could a 9. I mean, it's not that far off, at least.
Yes. The Castellan tilts his head. Not yet accustomed to the presence of the undead, are we?
In such high numbers, no.
Well, I suppose that rules out Fort Zombie.
Luca lets himself laugh a bit.
Perhaps you should acclimatize yourself.
Luca is waiting for elaboration. Doesn't feel it's his place to speak.
The Castellan gestures for his son. Show him the preparation chamber. And once I've corrected your assignment, I will expect you to perform one of the rituals. Wolfram nods. Yes, sir. You are dismissed. And Wolfram the
wait.
Fourth.
Wait.
Hmm?
I'm trying to decide if I want to do something.
Go first
Yeah, I'm
then.
just ignoring everything that was said because I can't deal with that emotionally right now. He implied he was going to contact Veelia.
Yes.
Was the implication, from my understanding, that it would happen today?
It may happen later today. There was no clear indication of time frame.
Do I feel like I have the chance, possibly, to speak with him again?
Yeah. But if you want to get something out now, this might be a good chance to interrupt.
Yes. Luca gently raises his porcelain hand. If I may make a somewhat selfish request of his lordship.
What is your request?
I am finding my time here quite valuable. If I could be given a day or so before you contact my handler, I would be greatly indebted.
I'll make another persuasion check.
I can't look. What did I roll?
11.
Do you want to channel divinity for it?
Yes, I do want to channel divinity.
Goodness.
So that's
Yeah,
adds a
rebuke
plus.
The violent. Oh, 16.
Yeah, 16. 16 is enough.
Okay.
I suppose that will give us more time to take the measure of you. I somewhat doubt that your handler has done a thorough enough job of introducing you to the ways of our order.
Luca bows somewhat deeply and respectably.
You may leave.
He does so without word.
And that's where we'll end today's episode.
I